How do magicians show their tricks? They draw your attention to one thing so that you would completely lose focus of everything else, right? The same idea happens with goodwill impairment and your exam. Everybody knows. Well, if NCI was originally calculated as share of fair value of net assets, this means it doesn't get its share of goodwill impairment. Yes, but the calculation of impairment is going to be different, and that is what many people still don't practice. And if you're in my course, make sure that you watch this video with example and numbers and stuff. What would be important to acknowledge is that the recoverable amount that is given to you includes the total goodwill, the full goodwill, grossed up goodwill, that takes into account the full value of unrecognized intangible assets, not just the parent's share. So what you would need to do, you would need to take goodwill in the financial statement. You would need to divide it by the parent's share in order to get grossed up goodwill. So if your shareholding was 60%, goodwill had value of 6, then you are going to take 10 into the calculation of the total carrying amount, and that is going to be compared against recoverable amount. And that is going to give you impairment. And with the impairment, first you are going to impair grossed up goodwill, and then if something is left, you are going to impair the rest of the assets. And the impairment of the rest of the assets will be shared with NCI, because NCI have their claim on property, plant, equipment, inventory, and so on. So that impairment will. And if we are talking about grossed up goodwill impairment, then we are going to times it again by the parent shareholding in order to get how much goodwill needs to be credited, and it can be credited up to 0. That is how goodwill impairment is performed in the consolidated statements when we have NCI calculated as share of fair value of net assets at acquisition date. And make sure that you subscribe to my SBR Made Easy podcast to learn more about the traps which examiner sets for you, and to my LinkedIn profile to participate in weekly IFRS quizzes. Bye!